Show, Joe DeRosa here. Funny comic, new CD, You Will Die. You know, I realize you're one of those rare people whose your two heroes are Ice-T and Albert Brooks. That's
Yeah, it's a wide palette.
And as I understand, this is Ice-T. This is a person. What about the LA thing? Have you ever lived for a long period of time in LA, and are you considering that move? Like it's funny in the life of a comic. New York, especially now, you got great clubs like the Stand, you got the Cellar, everything. It's a fun scene, and you have fun here. You know, you got guys you like talking to. There's an edge and everything. But you know, what do you think? Is a time coming where, like, what's your move? You think LA is on the horizon for you?
Well, I don't know, man. I struggle with this a lot. Yeah. I really struggle with it. I don't want to live in Los Angeles, and I'm not saying that as a shot towards Los Angeles.
Right.
But I'm just a very East Coast kind of guy. My family lives here. That's important to me. I want to see them.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to live out there permanently. There's another, and then there's also the side of me that
goes... You
don't
want to have screaming matches with your mother over the phone.
Yeah. I want to be there in real life, just in case we decide to actually hit each other at some point. We can do it.
Yeah, there's nothing to the threat if it's over a phone.
yeah. Tough guy on the phone. Yeah. Why don't you fly out here and do it?
Telephone tough guy, pal.
So, and then there's the other part of me, the art side, where you go, well, I'm very inspired in New York, and I like it here, and it feeds the pulse. But then there's the part of you that goes, you hurt your career by not being out there. You'd go on more auditions if you were out there. You'd be in better, not better rooms, but more rooms to sell your scripts and all that stuff.
I'm sure you're edgy and funny here, and you got your family, but you got to wake up and go, do I want an arc on The Big Bang Theory, or I don't want an arc? You know, that's the thing. Again, you do, even if I found, like, I lived in LA for 6 years. The first two was Mad TV, and just because it was a sketch show where they needed so much time, that in and of itself meant every once in a while you could do something you were proud of, because they needed time. Like, so you got together with a writer and stuff, and every once in a while you go, wow, I'm proud of that sketch. Most of the time you weren't.
Right.
But, you know, every once in a while, okay. But then, you know, I made a couple of movies for a couple of years. I was lucky enough to get some deals. I did stand-up. I sustained living out there. And then last 2 years, I did a sitcom with Norm Macdonald. So I'm like, I'm with Norm. Laurie Metcalf was in it. All these talented people, good writers. But at the end, it was an ABC primetime sitcom with a laugh track. And you feel like your edge is just going away, even though you're working with Norm and these guys you love. And you just feel like you're getting less funny. And I don't know. It does take something away from you. But it's commerce. You're making money. And, you know, I don't know. It's a terrible decision.
Well, I think, you know, this is the thing. It's the, like, you put your time in, right? I almost look at that as like paying dues in a way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking back at my early 30s and late 20s and saying, well, there's no TV show there.
Yeah.
Therefore, I hustle like crazy on the road, and I'm trying to keep it going. And then when I start to think about, well, what about 10 years from now? What if I get sick? What if that gets very, very frightening?
The sick thing. If you start bringing up the sick thing, that's like, yeah, forget it.
Yeah, you know, so there's a part of me that's like, you got to have that one thing where you go, okay, that let me sock some money away so I could buy the house. And, and whatever. And, you know, look, I might get there just through stand-up.
Sure, but it's a lot of work, you know. But it's something, you know, because you know you'll probably always be good at stand-up and you'll be proud of it. But it is but then you go, okay, maybe that rare thing will happen where the money and something you're proud of are combined together in one thing.
That's what I'm hoping.
That's the holy grail.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. I mean, it feels good to be a New York comic and to. You know, I don't know. With every year, you know this. It's like as you keep going, you become more part of the fraternity or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So it feels good, and every year you feel a little more like it's that conflict of like, I'm 1 year closer to being the guy that did it from New York, or am I 1 year farther from being the guy that should have moved to L.A.? You know.
Then that's when insanity sits in.
Yeah, and then I cut myself. And
that's when it's like, okay. See, you know, but I got lucky in the sense that for 8 years I was able to do something that I was proud of in the Stern Show.
Sure.
Every morning I knew I was being funny.
Yeah.
And I got to do stand-up at the same time, and it was a time where I made a bunch of money. So I got so lucky that I had both in one thing, and I burnt myself out on it, of course. And it's fun to still be here doing my own show, but, you know, you know, there's a lot of stuff you do you're just not proud of too, and you look at it and go, well, because I had, you know, the first deal I had with Fox was an enormous amount of money, but God, it produced a pilot that is one of the worst things you've ever seen, and I'm horrible in it, you know. And you're like, wow, I hope this isn't all I do. But if you're a good comic like yourself, you're insured, and like as long as you stay with the stand-up, you know you'll always be happy with it.
But you're a great comic, and it's like, and that's why it worked out for you. You see.
Well,
everybody's got the things they're not proud of,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But it's like we all have those things. Yeah, Patton Oswalt's got a great bit about that.
Yeah,
where he talks about how he's 40, whatever now.
Yeah, Patton's probably like he's like 3 years younger than me, I think. Yeah, so 43, 42.
Yeah, and he talks about 35-year-old Patton versus 44-year-old Patton. And he goes, you didn't want to meet 35-year-old Patton at a party, and he goes, because you know, if you told me you like Creed, I would be like, those guys just do it for the money, and the women, they suck.
Exactly.
And he goes, now I realize there are so many worse things people do for money and women than make rock songs. Like, there are dictators, you know, like, so.
Creed.
Yeah.
if you're spending most of your time hating Creed, you're in that L.A. Largo bubble.
Right.
You really are.
So it's like that joke speaks to what you're saying.
Sure.
Where it's like everybody who doesn't have things behind them where they go, oh, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's got a spotless record unless you're a jackass that's aloof and unaware of anything and thinks that you're a genius.
That's the big thing, yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of people like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm envious of the people who have that shield up where they go, I'm great. And you go, oh, my God, you're not.
Isn't it amazing?
I know.
Be
All right,
nice.
we got to take another break. We're going to take another quick break here, and we'll be back with more Joe DeRosa. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Let me say this. Thanks to French Quarter's Guest Apartments for being our New York City hotel. Let them be your headquarters in New York City. Go to FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next stay. FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next stay. So what's next, Joe? You going now? Do you have a bunch of new material ready after this? Has been put out already? That's great.
Yeah, I'm on the road a lot over the next 2 months. Basically up till Thanksgiving. I'm touring real heavy. So I'm in Peoria, Illinois this weekend at the Jukebox Comedy Club, which is a great spot. And yeah, I got it's a whole new hour, so I get to sell this.
Awesome. That's a great situation.
Yeah, like you're going to buy in something totally different.
Right, that's great.
So, but it's also weird because it's like I want to get. There's going to be this weird overlap. I got to get this new thing now recorded because I can't now, like a year from now, I can't go back to Peoria, still be doing this hour. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
it's great that you even think that. A lot of comics aren't that conscientious. A lot of comics don't care enough about the audience like you just did. A lot of guys are like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Just buy another ticket and maybe you forgot some of the crap.
I mean, it's amazing. I love the guys that like so clearly. Like one of my pet peeves in comedy is like when a guy walks on stage and he goes, so I'm heading to the show tonight. And were you? And you just did 5 perfect minutes about that? That's amazing. The 2 callbacks and 6 tags you had on that coming to the show tonight story. You're really quick on your feet.
So I'm at the show tonight and they're, listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers on. It's creating. Some guys are good at creating spontaneity. Like Richard Lewis was always good at that. Like I saw Richard Lewis like several times in the same act, and it seems like he's pulling it out of air.
Yeah.
But some people are so lazy with the setup. It's like, oh, so I'm driving here. Like, no, you weren't. Like, I'm driving here.
It's great. Eddie Pepitone's really funny.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah.
Because he'll be in the middle of a bit. It'll just be screaming. Like he'll be doing a guy screaming at his wife in the car, and then just in the middle of it, he goes, "But what if nobody's there?"
Yeah,
he just screams
just
into the air.
This happens. This would be a funny thing for this situation if that happened, and the boss hears him say that and comes over. Did you see that documentary about Eddie?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
How is he doing? Is he like?
I don't know him.
Yeah,
I met him one time.
Yeah, I don't really know him either, but the documentary made me really like him.
Yeah, I like him too. I tweeted at him when I saw it. I wrote, I'm on my second viewing of The Bitter Buddha, and coincidentally, Eddie Pepitone said, "the Twitter idiots," as I was blocking somebody on Twitter. And I was all excited. Like, I was like, oh, he's going to write me back. He never responded.
Bastard. Well, that's why I've seen The Bitter Buddha a few times. I tried to get him on the show, right? Remember, Dan, we asked for Eddie Pepitone. I think he blew me off.
He did?
I don't know. I couldn't get him on. Something happened. I wanted to come in live. I guess he wasn't in the East. He doesn't come east a lot.
I don't think he really goes on the road a lot. They talk about that on the.
But it was very
movie.
sweet, actually, too. The thing with his father at the end and stuff. I liked it.
Yeah, that was nice, man.
Yeah.
Especially because his dad was so old school, and
Big Staten Island old school.
Yeah, and he's such like a downtown kind of comic.
Yeah,
like it's very offbeat and strange.
Yeah, we'll give it a plug. The Bitter Buddha. Check it out, Eddie Pepitone. Thanks, Joe, for coming in, man.
Thank you.
Always the best. You Will Die. Get it now, and we'll see you real soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Joe DeRosa. We'll be back after these words.